How are you guys doing? Today is Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021, out here in this fading quarantine. My name is James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Tuesday, June 1st. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. First, I think it's worth going through the three playoff basketball games from yesterday and showing the implications of all three of those. Starting off in Brooklyn, it was the Eastern Conference's 2-7 matchup in the first round, as the second seed Brooklyn Nets hosted the 7th seed Boston Celtics for Game 5 of this series. In this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets would end up beating the Celtics 123-109 to put them away in this series in what would be the Celtics' final game of the 2020-2021 season. For the Celtics in this matchup, their leading scorer was their elite starting small forward out of Duke, Jason Tatum. Tatum finished with 32 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks in 41 minutes. He shot 12 for 27 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. And then he was, like I said, he was their leading scorer in their final game of the season. Not much more he could really do for himself. He would go on to have a great season, and following this loss, or I guess jumping out to how the Brooklyn Nets fared in this matchup. Their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard out of Arizona State, James Harden. The former NBA MVP would finish with 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, as well as 2 steals and 2 blocks in 39 minutes as he shot 10 for 17 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and 10 for 11 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kyrie Irving, would finish with 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in 38 minutes as he shot 9 for 14 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the field. And then their goated starting power forward from Texas, Kevin Durant, would finish with 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks in 37 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. And alongside those guys, their elite starting power forward, Blake Griffin, would finish with 6 points and 4 rebounds in 18 minutes. He shot 3 for 4 from the field on the night. With this win, the second seed Brooklyn Nets are the second team to advance to the Eastern Conference semis. And in this matchup, they will face off against the 3 seed Milwaukee Bucks, the only team thus far that has advanced to the second round after sweeping the 6 seed Miami Heat. So right now, that's what the Brooklyn Nets are up to. And with this loss, the Boston Celtics are the second team eliminated from the 2020-2021 NBA playoffs. With this loss, there are now 14 teams in the NBA that are left competing for the 2021 NBA Finals. Jumping out to the second matchup of the night, the Denver Nuggets hosted the Portland Trailblazers in the Western Conference's 3-6 matchup. The Nuggets holding the 3 seed and the Trailblazers holding the 6 seed. This matchup would go all the way to second overtime, where the Nuggets would beat the Trailblazers 147-140 after outscoring the Trailblazers by outscoring them 26-19 in both overtimes. For the Trailblazers in this matchup, their leading scorer was their elite starting point guard, Damian Lillard. He finished with 55 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 blocks, as the former NBA Rookie of the Year played 52 minutes in the game, 55 points in 52 minutes, ridiculous. He shot 17 for 24 from the field, 12 for 17 from 3, which is an NBA record. No one has ever made 12 3-pointers in a playoff game before until yesterday. And then Damian Lillard shot 9 for 10 from the foul line. For the Denver Nuggets in this matchup, their leading scorer would end up being their elite starting center, Nikola Jokic, who finished with 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists, as well as 4 blocks, putting up another double-double as he led the NBA this season. He did all this in 46 minutes as he shot 14 for 31 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, and 7 for 8 from the foul line. Off the bench for the Denver Nuggets, their point guard, Monte Morris, would finish with 28 points and 5 assists in 41 minutes. He shot 7 for 18 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and 10 for 11 from the foul line. And then back in their starting lineup, their starting small forward out of Missouri, Michael Porter Jr., would finish with 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 steals in 48 minutes. He shot 10 for 13 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. With this win, the 3-seed Denver Nuggets now hold a 3-2 series lead over the 6-seed Portland Trailblazers. The next win for the Nuggets would win them the series. The next game of this series will be tomorrow on TNT, if you're looking out for that. And then the last game of the night took place in Phoenix as the second-place Phoenix Suns hosted the 7th-place Los Angeles Lakers, the defending champs, without Anthony Davis. In this matchup, the Suns would beat the Lakers 115-85 after they outscored the Lakers by 8 in the first quarter and by 22 in the second. They outscored them by 30 points in the first half. And the second half was pretty even, but it was that first half which gave the Suns the advantage and therefore the very important Game 5 win. For the Los Angeles Lakers, the defending champs, their leading scorer was their goated starting small forward, LeBron James. LeBron James would finish with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists in 32 minutes as he shot 9 for 19 from the field and 6 for 10 from 3. For the Phoenix Suns, their leading scorer was their starting shooting guard, Devin Booker. Devin Booker finished with 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 33 minutes. He shot 13 for 23 from the field. He shot 2 for 6 from 3 and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. Alongside him in the starting lineup, their elite starting point guard out of Wake Forest, Chris Paul, would finish with 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists in 23 minutes. He shot 3 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 2nd-seed Phoenix Suns now take a 3-2 series lead over the 7th-seed Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers were actually favored in this series, but now the Suns are 1 game away. Game 6 is tomorrow on TNT. For those of you that are interested, there are going to be many people that are going to be watching this game tonight. So that is what the NBA playoffs are. That's what they looked like yesterday. Of course, leading into today, as the first round is still continuing all around the nation. At 7:00. On NBA TV, the 1-seed Philadelphia 76ers are going to host the 8-seed Washington Wizards. This will be very big as, of course, another win from the Philadelphia 76ers would clinch them the series. So the Wizards are fighting for their playoff lives. At 7:30, you can say the same case for the New York Knicks. The 4th seed in the East as they host the 5th seed Atlanta Hawks. The 5th seed Atlanta Hawks currently lead this series 3-1 as a win in Madison Square Garden could seal this game for the Hawks. So the Knicks are fighting for their playoff lives. At 9:30, it is the Western Conference 1-8 matchup as the 1-seed Utah Jazz, the team that held the best record in the NBA this season, host the Memphis Grizzlies. And this, like I said, this game will be on NBA TV. The Utah Jazz currently lead this series 3-1. A win at home could seal the series for them. So the Memphis Grizzlies are fighting for their playoff lives. And then at 10:00 on TNT, it is the Western Conference 4-5 matchup as the 4-seed Los Angeles Clippers host the 5-seed Dallas Mavericks. A win for either team can be very crucial as both teams are now two wins away. So now it's a best-of-3 series between these two. But right now, that is what the NBA playoffs are looking like for today, Wednesday, June 2nd. Jumping really quickly to the NHL, as we stay within the context of playoff arenas, but jump to the ice. There was one playoff game yesterday, and that was the Central Divisional Final Game 2 between the 1st seed Carolina Hurricanes and the 3rd seed defending champs Tampa Bay Lightning. In this matchup, the Tampa Bay Lightning would end up beating the Hurricanes 2-1 as they ended up scoring a goal in the second and the third period in order to put them up. With this win, the Tampa Bay Lightning now lead this series 2-0 as they will play their next 2 games in Tampa, which of course is very big for them, as even if they just pick up one, it'll put them 1 win away from the Stanley Cup semifinals. So right now that's what everything was looking like yesterday. Jumping into today, there'll be 2 matchups on NBC Sports Network at 7:30. It will be the North Divisional Final as the 3-seed Winnipeg Jets host the 4th seed Montreal Canadiens after the Canadiens just beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. And then at 10 o'clock on NBC Sports Network following that, it'll be the Western Divisional Final as the Colorado Avalanche, the top seed in the division, are going to host the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the second seed in that division. Right now, the 1 seed Avalanche are beating the 2 seed Golden Knights 1-0 in the series, as of course this is a game 2, so this could be very big in determining what's going on. So that is what the NHL is looking like as of today, Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. And then last but not least, jumping to the MLB just to get a good sense of what was going on yesterday. There, I believe, were no double headers. So just starting off in Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Chicago White Sox and were able to pull up a 6-5 win to give the former American League Cy Young a 6th win of the season. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the loss went to Dylan Cease. Cease allowed 6 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. In their batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, would end up going 2 for 5 on the day. Their third baseman, Yoan Moncada, would go 2 for 3. Their right fielder, Jake Lamb, would end up going 2 for 2 with 2 runs on the day as he walked twice. He made base every single time. And then their catcher, Zach Collins, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. For the Cleveland Indians, the start and the win went to their elite starting pitcher, Shane Bieber, who allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 7 on the day. With this win, Sugar Shane Bieber is now 6-3 on the season as a starting pitcher, and the save will go to James Karinchak, their closer, who allowed 2 earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. He picked up his 7th save of the season last night. In their batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, would finish 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run on the day as he hit his 11th and 12th doubles of the season. Their left fielder, Harold Ramirez, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 30-24. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 2.5 games in the division. The Indians have won 6 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox have the best record in the American League Central. They now sit 2.5 games ahead of the second place Cleveland Indians. The White Sox have now lost 3 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Minnesota Twins, and the Orioles were able to pick up a 7-4 win after picking up 4 runs themselves in the third inning off of a pretty big, a big inning from them. For the Minnesota Twins in this matchup, the start and the loss would end up going to Michael Pineda. Pineda would allow 5 earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 1 batter on the day. With this loss, Michael Pineda is 3-3 as a starting pitcher for Minnesota this year. They had 3 players with more than 1 hit. Their left fielder, Alex Kirilloff, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Their right fielder, Willians Astudillo, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the season. And then their shortstop, Andrelton Simmons, would go 2 for 4 on the day. For the Baltimore Orioles, the start and the win would go to their starting pitcher, Bruce Zimmerman. He would allow 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Zimmerman is 3-3 as a starting pitcher. And then the save would end up going to their relief pitcher, Cole Sulser. Sulser would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. That's his first save of the year. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Cedric Mullins, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Trey Mancini, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their first baseman, Ryan Mountcastle, would end up going 2 for 4 for himself with an RBI. With this win, the Baltimore Orioles are 18-37. That is the worst record in the American League East. That is the worst record in the American League, and that is the worst record in the major leagues at the moment. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 16.5 points in the division in the American League East, as they have now won 1 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 22-32. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 10.5 games in the division. The Minnesota Twins have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Yankee Stadium, the New York Yankees hosted the Tampa Bay Rays and were able to pull off a 5-3 win after outscoring the Rays 2-0 in extra innings, is winning off of a 2-run home run from Clint Frazier in the bottom of the 11th. For the Tampa Bay Rays in this matchup, the start went to Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow would allow 3 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 8 on the night. The loss would go to their third relief pitcher, Andrew Kittredge. He would allow 1 earned run in 2 total and 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. He is now 5-1 as a relief pitcher on the season. Nobody on the Rays would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great Yankees pitching. The start for the Yankees went to their starting pitcher, Domingo Germán, who allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win went to their closer, Luis Cessa. Cessa would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he is now 1-0 as a relief pitcher. In their batting lineup, no one would finish with more than 1 hit, but their right fielder, Clint Frazier, would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs, and he would finish with a hit that counted in the very end. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 30-25. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 4.5 games in the division. The Yankees have now won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 35-21. That is the best record in the American League East. That is the best record in the American League, and that is the best record in the major leagues in total, in general. They now sit 2 games ahead of the second place Boston Red Sox within the American League East, and the Tampa Bay Rays have now lost 2 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Florida, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Miami Marlins. The Marlins were actually closer to home than the Blue Jays. Well, most teams are closer to home than the Blue Jays, but the Marlins were right there. And in this matchup, the Blue Jays would beat the Marlins 5-1 after scoring 3 runs in the 3rd inning off of a 3-run home run from their young elite first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. For the Miami Marlins, the start and the loss went to Sandy Alcantara, who allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Alcantara is 2-5 as a starting pitcher this year. Their center fielder, Starling Marte, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And then their catcher, Jorge Alfaro, would end up going 2 for 4 on the day. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start and the win went to Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this win, Robbie Ray is 3-2 as a starting pitcher for Toronto. Their second baseman, Marcus Semien, will go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And then their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would go 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 17th home run of the season yesterday, which is tied with Ronald Acuna Jr. for the lead. And then their left fielder, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run, as Gurriel hit his 5th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 28-25. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 5.5 games in the division, and they have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 24-29. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They now trail the New York Mets by 5 games in the division. The Marlins have now lost 6 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Phillies would beat the Reds 17-3 after scoring 13 runs after the 5th inning. For the Cincinnati Reds in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Sonny Gray. Gray allowed 3 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this loss, Sonny Gray is now 1-4 as a starting pitcher this year. Their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, was the only player in their batting lineup with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3 on the day. Great pitching from Philadelphia. The start and the win went to Aaron Nola. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Aaron Nola is now 4-4 on the season as a starter. Their center fielder, Odubel Herrera, will go 3 for 6 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs. Herrera would hit his 3rd and 4th home runs of the season yesterday. Their second baseman, Gene Segura, will go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Rhys Hoskins would go on to hit his 12th home run of the year. Their left fielder, former National League MVP Andrew McCutchen, will go 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs on the day, as Andrew McCutchen will go on to hit his 8th and 9th home runs of the season. Their third baseman, Alec Boehm, will go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run on the day. And then their shortstop So the shortstop for the Philadelphia Phillies, who in this matchup was Ronald Torreyes, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his first home run of the season. And then their pinch hitting right fielder, Travis Jankowski, would end up going 2 for 2 with a run. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 26-29. That is the third best record in the National League East. They now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division. The Phillies have now won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are now 24-29. That is the fourth best record in the National League Central. They now trail the Chicago Cubs by 6.5 games in the division. The Reds have now lost 6 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves hosted the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals were able to beat the Braves 11-6 as they were able to give Voth his second win in relief. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the loss went to Max Fried. Fried allowed 5 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this loss, Max Fried is now 2-3 on the season as a starter. Their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., would go 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 4 runs as Acuna hit his 17th home run of the season, which is tied with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for the MLB lead. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, would go 2-for-5 with an RBI and a run as Ozzie Albies hit his 14th double of the season. Their third baseman, Austin Riley, would go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs as well. For the Washington Nationals, the start went to Steven Strasburg. Strasburg allowed 1 earned run in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 1. The win would go to their first relief pitcher, Austin Voth. Voth would allow 2 earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, Voth is 2-0 as a relief pitcher. Their shortstop, Trey Turner, would go 3-for-5 with 2 runs on the day. Their elite right fielder, Juan Soto, would end up going 3-for-4 with 4 RBIs and 4 runs. Soto would end up hitting his 5th home run of the season yesterday. Their first baseman, Ryan Zimmerman, will go 2-for-5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Zimmerman would hit his 6th home run of the season. Their left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, will go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run as well. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now 22-29. That is the worst record in the National League East. They now trail the New York Mets by 6 games in the division. The Nationals have won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 25-27. The former National League back-to-back-to-back champs are now trailing the New York Mets by 3.5 games in the division. The Braves have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Detroit Tigers, and the Tigers would end up beating the Brewers 10-7 after scoring 6 runs in the second inning. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start and the loss would end up going to their starting pitcher, who in this matchup was Eric Lauer. Lauer allowed 7 earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Eric Lauer is 1-2 as a starting pitcher this year. Their second baseman, Colton Wong, will go 2-for-5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 3rd and 4th home runs of the season. Their center fielder, Tyrone Taylor, would end up going 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as Tyrone Taylor hit his 4th and 5th home runs of the year. For the Detroit Tigers, the start went to Matt Boyd. Matt Boyd would allow 5 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win would go to the Tigers' second relief pitcher, who in this matchup was none other than Derek Holland. Holland would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Derek Holland is now 1-1 as a relief pitcher this season. Their future Hall of Fame first baseman, Miguel Cabrera, would end up going 2-for-4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their second baseman, Jonathan Scope, would end up going 3-for-5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Scope would end up hitting his 6th and 7th home runs of the season yesterday. Their catcher, Eric Haas, would end up going 2-for-3 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs for himself. And then their shortstop, Willie Castro, would go 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 23-32. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 10 games in the division. The Tigers have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 29-26. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They now trail the Chicago Cubs by 2.5 games in the division. The Milwaukee Brewers have now lost 3 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the San Diego Padres. The Cubs were able to beat the Padres 4-3 to give Kyle Hendricks his 6th win of the season. For the San Diego Padres, the start and the loss went to Ryan Weathers. Weathers allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, Weathers is 2-2 as a starting pitcher for the Padres. In their batting lineup, their elite third baseman Manny Machado would end up going 2-for-4 on the day. He and their pitcher Ryan Weathers would be the only 2 players with more than 1 hit. Weathers would end up going 2-for-2 with a run on the day. For the Chicago Cubs, the start and the win went to Kyle Hendricks. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Kyle Hendricks is 6-4 on the season as a starter. And the save went to their elite closer, Craig Kimbrell, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out all 3 of the batters that he faced for his 13th save of the year. In their batting lineup, their catcher, Wilson Contreras, would go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 9th home run of the season. Their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, would go 2-for-4 on the day. Their third baseman, Patrick Wisdom, would go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as Wisdom has been red hot. He's had a red hot start this season. He now has 4 home runs on the year. And then their second baseman, Sergio Alcantara, will go 2-for-3 on the day. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 31-23. That is the best record in the National League Central. They now sit half a game ahead of the second place St. Louis Cardinals in the division. They have now won 8 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 34-22. That is the second best record in the National League West. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by half a game in the division. The Padres have now lost 5 of their last 10 games. So that's right now where the Padres are. Jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros hosted the Boston Red Sox, and the Astros were able to pull up a 5-1 win after scoring 3 runs in the 7th inning to run away with this win. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the loss would end up going to Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Garrett Richards is now 4-4 as a starting pitcher for Boston. In their batting lineup, their left fielder Alex Verdugo will go 2-for-4 as he was the only Boston Red Sox player with more than 1 hit. For the Houston Astros, the start and the win went to Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia will go on to allow 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Luis Garcia is now 4-3 as a starting pitcher for the Houston Astros. In their batting lineup, their designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would go 1-for-2 with 3 walks and an RBI and a run as he hit his 8th home run of the season. Then the right fielder, Kyle Tucker, would end up going 3-for-4 with a run. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 30-24. That is the second best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by half a game in the division. The Astros have now won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 32-22. That is the second best record in the American League East. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 2 games in the division. The Boston Red Sox have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Royals were able to beat the Pirates 10-5 after scoring 5 of their runs in the 5th inning. For the Pittsburgh Pirates in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Will Crowe. Will Crowe would allow 8 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Will Crowe is now 0-4 as a starting pitcher this year for Pittsburgh. They're in their batting lineup. The second baseman, the MLB hits leader Adam Frazier, would go 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 18th and 19th doubles of the season. He also leads the MLB in doubles. Their third baseman, Wilmer Defoe, would end up going 2-for-4 with a run on the day. Their shortstop, who in this matchup was Kevin Newman, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI. And then last but not least, their catcher, Michael Perez, would go 2-for-4 with an RBI on the day. For the Kansas City Royals in this matchup, the start and the win went to Brady Singer. Singer allowed 4 earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Brady Singer is now 3-4 as a starting pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. In their batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Whit Merrifield, would end up going 3-for-5 with an RBI and 2 runs on the day. Their left fielder, Andrew Benintendi, would go 2 for 5 with 5 RBIs and a run as Benintendi hit his 5th home run of the year. Their elite catcher, Salvador Perez, would end up going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as Salvador Perez hit his 11th and 12th home runs of the season yesterday. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 27-26. That is the third best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 5 games in the division. The Royals have now won 7 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 20-34. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They now trail the Chicago Cubs by 11 games in the division. The Pirates have now lost 8 of their last 10 games in the division. Right now, that's where they sit right now. Jumping out to Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the Texas Rangers, and the Rockies were able to beat the Rangers 3-2 in the 11th inning after a walk drawn by Brandon Rogers to give the Rockies their 21st win of the season. But getting into it, for the Texas Rangers, the start went to Dane Dunning. Dunning allowed 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The loss would end up going to their closer, the last pitcher for the Rangers, Brett Martin. Martin would allow no earned runs and he would allow a run in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he is 0-2 as a relief pitcher. Nobody in their batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit. For the Rockies, on the other hand, the start would go to German Marquez. He allowed 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The win will go to their relief pitcher, Michael Givens, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Givens is 2-2 as a relief pitcher on the season. Their center fielder, Jonathan Daza, would end up going 3 for 5 with an RBI. Their second baseman, Ryan McMahon, would be the only other player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 21-34. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 13 games in the division. The Rockies have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 22-34. That is the worst record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 9.5 games in the division. The Rangers have now lost 7 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks would host the New York Mets, and the Diamondbacks would end up beating the Mets 6-5 after outscoring the Mets 2-1 in extra innings, winning off of a Josh Reddick 2-run double. So looking at how the Mets fared in this matchup, the start would go to Marcus Stroman. Stroman would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The blown save in the loss, however, would go to the relief pitcher Trevor May. Trevor May would go on to allow 1 earned run and 2 runs in .1 inning pitched. With this loss, he has blown his second save of the year, and he is now 2-2 as a relief pitcher this year. And no one in their batting lineup would actually finish with more than 1 hit on the day. Their elite shortstop Francisco Lindor went 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his first triple of the season. For the Arizona Diamondbacks in this matchup, the start would end up going to their starting pitcher, Caleb Smith, and the win would go to their relief pitcher, Alex Young. Alex Young would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he is now 2-4 as a relief pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks this season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Ketel Marte, would end up going 3 for 4 with a run. Their third baseman, Eduardo Escobar, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Pavin Smith, would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 5th home run of the season. And then their right fielder, Josh Reddick, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs, the 2 RBIs that mattered for Arizona. With this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 20-36. That is the worst record in the National League West. And that is actually the worst record in the National League. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 14.5 games in the division. They have now won 2 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the New York Mets are now 26-21. That is the best record in the National League East. They now sit 3.5 games ahead of the second place Atlanta Braves. The New York Mets have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the Los Angeles Angels. The Angels would end up beating the Giants 8-1 after scoring all 8 of those runs in the third and fourth inning combined. For the San Francisco Giants, the start and the loss went to Alex Wood. Wood allowed 7 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. His ERA jumped above 3, actually. With this loss, like I said, he's 5-3 on the season as a starting pitcher. In their batting lineup, their pinch hitting center fielder, Steven Duggar, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run, and then their first baseman, Wilmer Flores, would go 2 for 4 on the day. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start and the win would end up going to Andrew Heaney. Heaney allowed 1 earned run in 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Andrew Heaney is 3-3 as a starting pitcher for the Angels. Their elite third baseman, Anthony Rendon, will go 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs on the day as Rendon would hit his 5th double of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are now 25-30. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 6 games in the division. They have now won 6 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now 34-21. That is the best record in the National League West. That is the best record in the National League as well. And with this win, they now sit half a game ahead of the second place San Diego Padres. With this loss, they still sit half a game ahead of the San Diego Padres in the division, and they have now lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the Oakland Athletics, and the Athletics were able to beat the Mariners 12-6 after scoring 10 of their 12 runs in the final 3 innings of the game. For the Seattle Mariners, the start went to Marco Gonzalez. Marco Gonzalez would allow 1 earned run in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The blown save and the loss would go to their second relief pitcher, Paul Sewald. He would allow 3 earned runs without registering an out. He would bless his first blown save of the season, and with this loss, he is 2-1 as a relief pitcher on the year. Their shortstop, J.P. Crawford, will go 2 for 5 with a run. Their designated hitter, Mitch Haniger, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their third baseman, Kyle Seager, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as well. Their first baseman, Ty France, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI as well. For the Oakland Athletics, the start went to Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett would go on to allow 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win would go to the Oakland Athletics' first relief pitcher, Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo would allow no earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Luzardo is now 2-3 as a relief pitcher for Oakland. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Mark Canha, would go 2 for 6 with an RBI and a run. Their first baseman, Matt Olson, would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs, as Olson hit his 14th home run of the year. Their right fielder, Steven Piscotty, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs as well. And then last but not least, their second baseman, Tony Kemp, would go 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs and a run. Tony Kemp would hit his second home run of the season. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 32-25. That is the best record in the American League West. They now sit half a game ahead of the second place Houston Astros. The A's have now won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are now 28-28. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 3.5 games in the division. The Mariners have now lost 3 of their last 10 games. Last but not least, jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the defending champs hosted the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals would end up beating the Dodgers 3-2. After scoring the first 2 runs of the game, the Dodgers were tied up in the 7th thanks to a 2-run home run from Matt Beatty. But then an Edmundo Sosa single in the 9th inning would give the Cardinals what they needed to pick up their 31st win of the season. For the Los Angeles Dodgers in this matchup, the start went to David Price. He allowed 2 earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The loss would end up going to their closer, Blake Treinen, who allowed 1 earned run in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, he is now 1-2 as a relief pitcher for the Dodgers this season. Their catcher, Will Smith, was the only player who finished with more than 1 hit for LA as he went 2 for 4. For the St. Louis Cardinals in this matchup, the start went to John Gant. He allowed no earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win, however, would go to their first relief pitcher, Giovanni Gallegos. Gallegos would allow 2 earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. He blew his fourth save of the season, but with this win, he is now 3-1 as a relief pitcher. The save went to Alex Reyes, who's in the top 5 in the MLB for saves. He's allowed no earned runs in one inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this save, he now has 16 on the year. In this batting lineup, their second baseman Tommy Edman will go 2 for 5 with a run. Their center fielder Dylan Carlson will go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their left fielder Tyler O'Neill will go 2 for 4 with a run as well. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 31-24. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They now sit half a game behind the Chicago Cubs in the division, and the Cardinals have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 32-23. That is the third best record in the National League West. They now sit 2 games behind the San Francisco Giants in the division. The Dodgers have now lost 5 of their last 10 games as a team. They've now lost 5 of their last 10 games, just to give a sense of where they are. That is what the MLB is looking like following all of the June 1st exhibitions, and looking forward to what's going on today, because today is Wednesday. Today is not really a travel day, so a lot of the teams should be staying put in the series that they're currently in. Starting from the very top, at 12:35, 0-1 Vladimir Gutierrez and the Cincinnati Reds are going to face off against 0-1 Spencer Howard and the Philadelphia Phillies at 12:35 in Cincinnati. At 1:10 in Cleveland, 1-0 Giancarlo Mejia and the Cleveland Indians are going to host 6-1 Lance Lynn and the Chicago White Sox. At 2:20 at Wrigley, 3-4 Adbert Alzolay and the Chicago Cubs are going to host 1-0 Dinelson Lamet and the San Diego Padres. Jumping out to Phoenix at Chase Field, at 3:40, 4-5 Madison Bumgarner and the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to host 1-4 David Peterson and the New York Mets. Following that, at 7:05 at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, 3-6 Matt Harvey and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host 1-4 Randy Domnack and the Minnesota Twins. At 7:05 on ESPN Plus at Yankee Stadium, 2-1 Jordan Montgomery and the Yankees are going to host 2-0 Shane McClanahan and the Tampa Bay Rays. At 7:07 in Scion Field in Buffalo, New York, actually, the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host the Miami Marlins as Alek Manoah takes the mound for Toronto and Pablo Lopez takes the mound for Miami. At 7:20 at Truist Park in Atlanta, Drew Smyly and the Atlanta Braves are going to host John Lester and the Washington Nationals. At 8 o'clock on ESPN in Minute Maid Park, Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros are going to host 6-0 Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox. At 8:40 in Coors Field in Denver, and Antonio Senzatella and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Jordan Lyles and the Texas Rangers. At 9:10 in Los Angeles in Dodger Stadium, the elite Walker Buehler and the 3-0 elite Walker Buehler and the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to host Carlos Martinez and the St. Louis Cardinals. At 10:10 in T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Chris Flexen and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Sean Manaea and the Oakland Athletics. And with that said, that's basically everything going on with baseball. And once again, that's everything that's going on with sports today as of Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I will come back tomorrow on Thursday, June 3rd, for another episode of The Elite. Until then, I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with another episode following this. But until next episode, peace out. Thanks for listening to my piece. I'll catch you next time.